Hi everyone, my name is Reinholz. I am part of the EMUSIK team here in London, and today I'm going to give you a quick introduction into a subdivision exercise that you can do clapping at home. You don't need a drum kit for it, you can just stay at home, be a good human, save lives, and work on your drumming. When we count a normal 4/4 bar, we normally just count 1, 2, 3, 4. What we can do in the next step is dividing the space between the 1 and 2, the 2 and 3, and the 3 and 4 into 4 little chunks. 1. We have the second position that we vocalize as E, the third position that we vocalize as and the fourth position that we vocalize as the. So instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, we now count 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. So what are we going to do now is count out loud, tap the pulse with our foot 1, 2, 3, 4, and then clap all the different positions. So let's start with clapping on the first position, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the third position, so on the end. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. You can now try clapping on the E, so on the second 16th note position. So just to revise, it was 1 E and the. So if we clap on the second position now, it's going to be the E. Let's have a go. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Let's have a go with switching from clapping the quarter notes and clapping on the E. E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Once this is working, we can start clapping on the fourth position. So to revise again, we had 1 E and the. So the fourth position would be the. So we're gonna clap on the. That would sound like this: 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. Once you feel familiar with clapping on the 4th 16th note position, try now switching from clapping on the quarter notes, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, and clapping on the 4th 16th note position, so da. Since we clap on the 4th 16th note position and go back to the 1, we have a little double one. So watch out for this one. And 1, 2, 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. Once you feel confident with all these individual positions, you can now try to combine them all and play them right after each other. 3, 4, and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E, 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. So now that we've learned how to clap all the different positions, we're now gonna take it a bit further and take the whole exercise to the drum pad. So all you need for this exercise now is a pair of drumsticks and a practice pad, like that. If you don't have a practice pad, you can use a pillow. And if you don't have sticks, I think Amazon is still shipping. Or you just use your hands on your lap. So firstly, we're simply going to play the positions that we just clapped with the sticks. Similar to the clapping part of the video earlier, let's start with playing on 1, 2, 3, 4 and on the third position, so the end. For now, I want you to play both positions only with your right hand, or if you're left-handed, obviously with your left hand. Let's see what it sounds like. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1. So same as what we just did with the clapping, let's play on 1 and the second position, E. Notice how I'm using my right hand or strong hand to play on the pulse, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and my left hand to play on the E. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E. And now, you guessed it, let's see what happens if we play on the beat and on the 4th position, so the Da. Again, I'm playing the positions on the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, with my strong hand or right hand, and the Da, the 4th position, with my left hand. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. Great! So now that we got all of these working nicely, let's put them all together again. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Once we feel comfortable with that, we can now take it to the next step. We can now start playing the positions we just practiced as accents over a continuous 16th note pattern. So as before, we are going to start with playing on the 1st and 3rd position, so on the pulse, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on end, the offbeat. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. Again, we're going to continue with playing on 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 2nd position, E. 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E, 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. And now, same approach as before, we're going to play on 1, 2, 3, 4 and on the 4th position. So again, when you get to the end of this, to the repeat, the last stroke in the left hand will be immediately followed by the first stroke in the right hand. So 4 E and the 1. 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. Let's put it all together and play all of these accents in a row. 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. And the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1 E and the 2 E and the 3 E and the 4 E and the 1. This exercise will give you a better understanding of 16th note subdivision and the accents within it. It will also help your overall time, your grooves and your feels. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys. My name was Thomas Reinholz. I'm part of the EMUSIK team here in London, and if you enjoyed this lesson, please feel free to check out our website or give us a call on the number below. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep practicing.
Something's on my mind.